Right, good morning. I've had a bit of a problem and my original link didn't work, so I've set up a new one. I'm just going to pop a note on the chat for the first link to say that it's not working and you need to come across to this link. So bear with me. Whilst I'm doing that, I'm just going to put up the review questions from Friday and you can take a look at them. I've covered up the questions, the answers. So if you didn't get a chance to do them on Friday, you can look at them quickly now. Sorry about that. Let's see if I can get you all on. Right. Hello, Aliha, you've joined me. I am so sorry. I've got all of you in another chat that my son is responding to tell you to log out of that one and log into this one. I don't know what's happened. My Wi-Fi has gone crazy, but I've got Aliha here. So thank you. But I know I've got loads of people on the other one and I'm just waiting for them to come across. So we're going to be a couple of minutes late. Adam's across. Brilliant. Okay, so my system hopefully is working. And once again, my apologies. I have no idea what went wrong. Hopefully they will all catch up in a moment. But in the meantime, let me just go through my normal process that you need. 2 different pens. So you've got a different color for marking. A ruler, for my ruler is still here. A ruler, so you can set your work out neatly. A notebook, if you have one, if not some paper, but you may have your school book. You don't need one of these. Oh yeah, you're all coming in. Thank you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but you're here now and we're only 5 minutes late, so it's not too bad. Okay, so you don't need one of those. Definitely don't need one of those. And we don't need one of those because we are using our brains, using our fabulous brains, half an hour, focus, attention, and yeah, and then actually you might even have a little bit of time to relax before you have a look at some of your other subjects. Okay, so a little bit of a strange start to my lesson. I can only apologise. I'm going to go through Friday's review questions. Now, what I was saying when I first came on is if you're watching this on catch up and you didn't do Friday's questions, you can pause the video now. Pause it now. Do the questions, and then you can check them when I do the big reveal. For those of you who have done them, I'm going to pull up the answers now. So question 1, the missing numbers in the sequence were 8 and 190. Question 2, the answer was -8. Question 3, the answer is also -8. Actually, question 2 and question 3 are the same. We're just representing the question in a different way. We've got 1 lot of -4, 2 lots of -4, 2 lots of -4 is -8. Here we've got 2 lots of -4, which give us -8. And finally, one of those challenging worded questions. It costs £32 for a ticket. And then there is a £5 charge. But remember, that is per booking, not per ticket. So to buy 3 tickets, it's £101. But if you don't know how many tickets you're buying and you're using a letter to represent the number, and it's Y number of tickets, it's 3Y, and then you're adding on that £5 booking charge. Right, let's get started with today's questions. Part 1 coming up right now. Thirty seconds to go. Moving on to part 2. Thirty seconds to go. Part 3 coming up.
30 seconds to go. Okay, right, let's get started with some answers. Don't forget to mark them as we go through. If you've got a different colour pen, that would be fantastic. And total up your scores so you can pop them in the chat for me at the end. So, part 1, we have 18 for question 1, 81 for question 2, 16 for question 3, 12 for question 4, negative 12 for question 5, 9 for question 6, 48.3 to 1 decimal place. Oh, and here's our parents versus kids challenge. This is a 3 marker, 1 mark for each of B, which is 155 degrees, C, which is 25 degrees, and D, 155 degrees. So that's a 3 marker. So 10 marks for part 1. Let's move on to part 2. Okay, we have negative, sorry, bear with me, negative 21. Question 2 is 35. Question 3 is 281. Question 4 is 100. Question 5 is 5. Question 6 is 1,331. Question 7 is 30. And the parents versus kids challenge, another 3 marker. That's a real life example, that one. We'll talk about it on the board. 20,000 tins. Okay. Let's do part 3. All right, so we have question 1 is 67, question 2 is 0.8, question 3 is 8,676, question 4 is 90, question 5 is 26.4, but we're rounding it to the nearest whole number. It gives us 26. Question 6 is no. Question 7 is -6. Question 8 is yes. And our parents versus kids challenge, a 2 marker. What is 1/2 of 1/3 of 1/4 of 1/5? A very tricky fraction of an amount question. The answer is 2. Okay, so whilst you're totaling up your scores on that, I've got a couple of shout outs to do, and then we're going to mark off all of our numbers on our Beat the Clock board. So I have a hello to Felix. Good morning to Louisa. Good morning to Matada, who is currently in year 6. He's going to be joining Robert Clack School at the Lymington site
in September, and I had the pleasure of meeting him last week. Good morning to Lucas. Good morning to Holly and Billy, who are logging in all the way from sunny Dorset. I have Adam in year 3. Welcome to him. He is in Dagenham. Welcome to Alex and Janeth and Amy. Welcome to Chloe, and welcome to Chloe's mum, Kay, as well. Fantastic. Right, so let's see. We've got some scores. Aliha has got 16. Fantastic. Janeth has got 30. Absolutely brilliant. Joe has got 30. Let's have a look. We've got 23 out of 30. Absolutely brilliant. 28. I don't know all of your names. I'm guessing Droxy FN isn't your real name. 16 out of 30. Wow, brilliant. I am so impressed with those. Okay, right, let's get our numbers covered up on our Beat the Clock board. Let's see what we have got. I've got part 1, part 2, part 3. Right, so, okay, so we want some new numbers covered up. So we have 18 that we're covering up here. Hopefully all of you have got your 10 by 10 grid in your books now. 81 is all the way down here. And then I think it's all the way down to, have we got 25? Yeah, okay, I think we're moving on to the part 2. Question 2, part 2 was 35. And then we've got 100 for question 4. Part 2. And anything else? Oh, we've got 5. Oh no, 5's gone. All right, 30. Brilliant. Okay, I think that's all of them for part 2. Let's double check part 3, which is right here. Okay, so I've got 90. I have got 26. I've got a -6. Okay, well, I'm going to use 6 for this. Whoops, got 2 there. 6. And again, I think that's it for today. All right, let's start doing some maths. I've got a question as to where is Rose today. I'm going to answer that. Hold on. I don't have Rose helping me today because she is on a Zoom chat meeting her teacher for year 5. So she now knows who her year 5 teacher is going to be, but I don't know because I'm in here with you guys. But I'll find out when we finish. I've got my son, my 14-year-old stroppy teenager son. He's not stroppy. He's delightful, honestly, helping me out this morning. So let's get started. Okay, I thought I'd start with that angle question because some of you won't have done angles before, and also because I'm going to put a little title here, Angle Rules. Okay, so I've got 2 lines that went like that, and then you were given that A equals 25 degrees, and you need to find out the other 3 angles. So you've got B here, you've got C, and you've got D. Remember, it was a 3-marker question. But I did also ask you to state your angle rules. Okay, so let's look at the first one. Now, what I've done, because I was at school last week, is I've raided my classroom a little bit and I've brought through a couple of things that might help. So we'll start with this one. Hopefully, oh, look, you can see that. Okay, so it looks similar to what I've just drawn on the board, doesn't it? All right, but don't worry about the board for now. So if you look at this, you might notice something about the opposite angles. Now, we call them something very special in geometry. We call them vertically opposite angles, even if we're talking about these 2 angles, which look like they're horizontal. They're still called vertically opposite. And these 2 here are also called vertically opposite. Now, you might be able to see that as, I need another pair of hands, don't I? As this angle here as this angle here gets bigger, this angle here changes as well, and it gets bigger as well. Okay, so you can see I've made these angle here bigger, bigger. Okay, if I make them really, really, really tiny, small, small. Okay, so these angles, we can say our angle rule is vertically opposite angles are equal. That allows us to know that C is the same as A, and therefore C is 25 degrees. And our rule is vertically opposite angles are equal. All right. Now, what about these two angles? So again, after rummaging through my drawers at school, I've found these. Okay. So if we just looked at A and D, or A and B, it doesn't matter. We're basically hiding that bit, and we're just looking at a straight line with a line coming off. Okay, we're looking at that. So hopefully you can see this is a straight line. And we have to remember that angles on a straight line sum to 180 degrees. So if we know what this angle here, in this case it's 25 degrees, we can calculate this angle by doing 180 subtract 25 equals 155. So it's 180 subtract 25 equals 155 degrees. Now we also know vertically opposite angles are equal. So now we know what but D is also 155 degrees. But we remember we need to write down our angle rules. So remember this one, the blue one, angles on a straight line sum to 180. So angles on a straight line sum. Didn't really allow myself enough space, did I? Angles on a straight line sum to 180 degrees. Okay, we know that C was vertically opposite angles that are equal, but D is also that same rule. You can actually use either rule for that one. And then this, some of you might have seen these before. I use these in my classroom. This means ditto. This means I've written exactly the same thing there, but I haven't got time to write it all down. But it means that this angle rule also applies to this one here. So there's a little bit of angles for you. That might be a little bit of a sneak preview of what you're going to be doing in future years, depending on what year you're in. Okay, now we need to do some work on negative numbers, but I'm a little bit conscious of the time today because I was a little bit late starting. So I'm going to roll that over till tomorrow, and I'm going to look at that worded question. Okay, where is it? Let's just bring that up for a second. I really like this question. Can I tell you why? There it is, just to remind you. I really like this question because it's real. And what's really important with maths is that we remember it's not just in the classroom, and it's not just to get a GCSE. It's because we use it every single day of our lives. So this is a real question. So I'm part of a network where I live in Wanstead in East London. And an amazing lady whose daughter actually is on this chat sometimes has set up this initiative where all the local community donate things and they go to the food bank. So this is actually a true story. We have donated more than 10 tons of items to the food bank, and that is the equivalent of 10,000 kilograms. So I've given you the 10,000 kilograms. All right, so let's just write up what we need to know here. So we've got a worded question. It's a real life question. We know that we have donated 10,000 kilograms to the food bank. We know that 1 tin weighs 500 grams. So we need to do a little bit of converting. Now we can choose whether to convert from grams to kilograms or kilograms to grams. Now I think I'm going to make everything the same unit. I'm going to make it all kilograms. I think that's going to be easier. Let's have a look and see. So my son has done, I'm not sure why, my son has just walked in with the food bank side to demonstrate. Don't ask me why, but he did. There you go. See, I told you, real life. We use maths all the time, every single day in real life. Okay, let's carry on. So 500 grams, I know to convert from grams to kilograms, I have to divide by 1,000. Okay, I'm dividing by 1,000. So in kilograms, that gives me 0.5 kilograms. I've divided by 1,000. So I've moved the place value 3 to the right, and I've got 0.5 kilograms. Okay, so now I know that 0.5 kilograms is 1 tin. Now there are lots and lots of different ways you can do this. But I'm going to show you how to build it up. Okay, you could do a division calculation. That's absolutely fine. But I'm going to build it up slowly. 0.5 kilograms is 1 tin. So I'm going to double it to make it easier. 1 kilogram is 2 tins. So can you see I've just multiplied both sides? James, can you do me a favour? Can you just rub off all of that bit there? Thank you. All right, so I've now got 1 kilogram is 2 tins. But I need to get all the way to 10,000 kilograms. So what I could do, I could go straight to 10,000, but maybe that's a bit hard. So maybe we'll go to 100 kilograms first. Okay, I can do that. That's quite easy. That's 200 tins. I've just asked my son to clean the board, and I've realised that just means that it wobbles when I'm writing. But thank you very much, James, for doing that. We're nearly there, aren't we? So now we've got to get from 100 to 10,000. So let's try multiplying by 100 again. You could multiply by 10 again, and then another 10 if you're not sure. Or as I say, you could just go straight in there. Absolutely fine. But sometimes the numbers are so big that we have to question ourselves and work out whether or not we've got the right number, because that is absolutely astonishing, isn't it? That in Wanstead, we have contributed to the Redbridge Food Bank 20,000 tins, or the equivalent of 20,000 tins, which is just amazing. Absolutely fantastic. Shows you what you can do in a strong community. Right, now we are a little bit over time. Can I squeeze just one more in? Let's go with fractions of an amount, because we should be able to do that quite quickly. Okay, fractions of an amount. Let's pop a quick title up there. And the question that you had, you've got a couple of choices here. It was 3/9 of 54. And that was actually the first question on part one. First question, part one, 3/9 of 54. So some of us, well, you've got two choices actually. You can leave it as 3/9, nothing wrong with that. And we write it as 54/1 just to make sure we don't accidentally end up with an equivalent fraction. We could do that and multiply it out. There's nothing wrong with that. Or we could say, well, hang on a minute. I know that 3/9 can be simplified down to 1/3. Maybe that's a bit easier, because now I'm going to end up with 54/3. Yeah, But we can do it this way. We could say that we've got 109 over 12. And then we could, why did I just say that? 112 over 9. I'm now just checking in my head if that's right, which simplifies down to 54 over 3, which then simplifies down to 18. Okay? So it doesn't matter which way round you do it. All right, so that was just a very quick one. I knew I'd done something wrong here. I was hoping my son would notice it, but he didn't. I think he's gone to sleep. So apologies. In my rush, I wrote down the wrong number there. So 106. I knew it was wrong because I was thinking 112, if I add those digits together, they make 4. 4 is not a multiple of 3. So how can that be divisible by 3? I've definitely done something wrong, but I'm not quite sure what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so always good to have in the back of your mind when you're doing things, that doesn't look right, but I don't know why. Okay, so how are we doing? I think we're going to have to leave it there. I'm going to put the review questions on now, and hopefully I won't have any technological glitches tomorrow, because that was all a bit stressful. Okay, so here we go with our review exercise. Right, just a reminder to pop this, let me pause it for one quick second, pop this in your books if you haven't already done so. And I've also now set up a Maths with Miss Live in London Facebook page. So I'm going to start posting some resources on there. So for example, something like this, you could just download and print out if you wanted to. Okay, all right. So back to the music. I'm going to leave this on a little bit longer because then it gives you guys a chance to have a little bit of a chat, because I know some of you like to do that before the chat finishes. See you tomorrow.